comes a moment in life when you stop debating your worth. A moment where your voice no longer trembles when you speak your truth. When you simply know who you are and you no longer feel compelled to convince anyone. Not because you've become arrogant or you think you're better, but because you have finally met yourself. That moment is quiet. It's steady and undeniable. And that is when strength becomes a part of your identity, not a performance. Welcome back to the Motivated Savages podcast, where we live bold, lead fearless, and ignite our path forward. I'm Jody Savage, and today we're talking about something that changes everything once you understand it. Steady strength. The kind that trusts identity instead of defending it. The strength that walks away from conflict without losing a single ounce of power. The kind that chooses peace without apology. The strength that is no longer interested in performing at the highest volume to be heard. Because once you truly know who you are, you don't explain it. You simply live it. Most people think power is loud. They think strength is big statements, big reactions, and big defenses. They think the person who takes the room hostage has the most authority. But loudness isn't power. It's insecurity wearing armor. The real strength is the one that doesn't flinch when someone throws a punch of words. The real strength is the one that doesn't feel threatened by other people's opinions. The real strength is the one who knows they don't need to win every argument to win their life. You begin to trust your identity when you stop asking the world to validate it. There was a long stretch in my life when I went quiet. Not because I had nothing to say or because I was timid or lost. I was just observing. I pulled back from circles that wanted drama. I stepped away from rooms where everyone argued to be right. I simply decided my peace was worth more than being understood. And here's what shocked me. The less I explained myself, the more grounded I became. Not weaker, stronger. It's strange. When you first experience it, you expect silence to feel like shrinking. But it actually feels like expanding. You realize how much energy you once spent trying to convince people who never wanted to hear you. You realize how many conversations you entered out of obligation, not alignment. You realize how often you bit your tongue to keep harmony, not truth. Steady strength begins when you stop chasing harmony and start embodying clarity. There's a difference between silence and submission. There's silence that protects your peace, and there's silence that hides you. One comes from power, and the other comes from fear. And most of us experience both. You keep the peace because confrontation feels heavy. You say, "It's fine," to avoid conflict. You swallow the words you want to say because you were conditioned to be the problem solver, the easy one, the agreeable one. That silence is suffocating. But the other silence, the one where you observe, you choose, where you hold your ground internally, that silence is command. When someone tries to pull you into a fight that doesn't matter, or they demand you perform outrage so they can feel validated, when someone pokes at you hoping you'll explode, and you simply don't, you don't apologize or defend, and you don't take the bait, you just stay centered, that's self-trust. When you start trusting your identity, you become dangerous in the best way. And the people who once fed on your energy feel it. They'll say you've changed, you got quiet, you're distant, you don't care the way you used to. But here's the truth. They never understood you. They understood the version of you that performed for them. As soon as you stop explaining, they lose the script. You stop reacting, they lose the leverage. Once you stop trying to be nice, they meet the real you. And the real you is not here for chaos. It doesn't join every war. The real you is selective with energy because you finally see your value. Now, self-trust doesn't arrive fully formed. It returns in layers. You start to believe yourself again when you keep the promises you make to yourself. You say you're done with a relationship dynamic, and you actually stop participating in it. You say you're going to change jobs, and you take that first real step. You say you're going to stop giving access to people who drain you, and you follow through. Trust isn't an affirmation, it's a pattern. Every time you keep your word privately, you rebuild the bridge you burned with yourself. And that bridge is sacred. Because once you can rely on your own voice, you stop needing everyone else's approval. We all know society rewards the loud, the dramatic, the reactive. But if you look closely, the loudest voices aren't leading. They're exhausting themselves. The ones who win long term, who build the big, real, lasting lives, they're steady. They're focused. They don't spend time convincing. They spend time building. Greatness isn't explosive. It's consistent. It's mile by mile energy, day after day alignment, quiet decisions that compound into a life worth living. You don't see it in the headlines, you see it in the results. Now, there's a particular kind of discomfort that people feel when they can't rattle you. They expect you to defend your choices. They expect you to react. And they expect you to argue because they thrive in chaos. And you don't. They don't know what to do with that. Your steadiness exposes their storm. Your calm reveals their insecurity. Your refusal to perform shows them how much noise they've mistaken for identity. And that is not your burden to shoulder. Steady strength is not a performance. It's a lifestyle. Now, you don't need to convince anyone that you're kind. They'll see it in how you live. You don't need to explain that you're capable. Your consistency will reveal it. You don't need to defend your dreams. Your results will make them undeniable. Identity is not a speech. It's evidence. You don't announce who you are. You become it. Now this week, we're not doing a surface level challenge. We're doing one that actually rewires how you respond to life in real time. Because self-trust isn't something you think your way into. It's something you prove to yourself through small, consistent choices. So here's your challenge. It's powerful and intentional. First, you're going to practice one conscious pause every day. Just one. You'll know the moment when it arrives. It'll be the moment you want to rush, fix, soften, explain, defend, or respond fast. Instead, pause and let silence land. Let your nervous system catch up to your truth. Write it down if you want. Noticing the pause builds the muscle. Second, I want you to give yourself one honest answer a day. Not the filtered one or the diplomatic one, not the one that keeps the peace, the real one. Even if you only say it to yourself, the identity shift begins here. You can ask, what do I actually want in this moment? And then honor the answer in the smallest way you can. Third, you're going to protect one boundary this week without explaining it. A full sentence with a period, no trailing justification. Something simple, like, I'm not available for that today, or that doesn't work for me. You don't need a speech. Your boundary is the message. This is one of the fastest ways to rebuild trust with yourself. Next, I want you to celebrate one moment of steady strength. Every time you show up with intention and not reaction, you signal to your brain, I can trust myself again. Notice that moment, name it, and honor it. That acknowledgement is part of the rewiring. Last, at the end of the week, I want you to ask yourself one question. Where did I feel more like myself? Not perfect, not polished, more you. Because that's the entire point of this challenge. Not to become someone new, but to clear the noise long enough to meet the version of you who's been here all along. I'm Jody Savage, and this is the Motivated Savages podcast. Live bold, ignite your path, that's the Savage way. If this episode resonated, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to choose steady strength over performance. And if you want to carry this message with you, check out our merch line at motivatedsavages.com. We've designed gear to remind you to live bold every day. Together, we're building the Savage community, a movement of people choosing purpose, growth, and bold living.